My name is Muhammad Nahiyan from Bangladesh. My question is it okay to become a software developer, as I fear that the software that I create may lead to fitna? Hopefully my question will be answered. As far as softwares are concerned, softwares can basically be divided into three types. The first are the softwares that are the non-Islamic softwares. For example, softwares related to education. For example, software related to history, to geography, certain mobile softwares. The second type of softwares, they are the un-Islamic softwares or the un-Islamic apps. For example, dating apps, gambling apps, apps that involve in things that are haram. And we find that these apps, they are very prevalent today. The dating apps, the gambling apps, the betting apps, all of these, but naturally they are haram. The third type of softwares or apps are the Islamic softwares or the Islamic apps. For example, apps of the glorious Quran, apps of ahadith, apps related to the adhan, for example, the adhan timings, apps for da'wah, apps in order to convey the message of Islam to the non-Muslims, apps that serve as a tool for answering questions to non-Muslims, children's apps that teach them the basic tenets of Islam. As far as the non-Islamic apps are concerned, if they do not contain anything that is haram, anything that is prohibited, as long as they are within the purviews of the Islamic Sharia, but natural, an individual can develop such apps and use such apps. The un-Islamic apps, but naturally we cannot develop them because they involve things that are haram. Whereas the Islamic apps, it is good, and rather we are encouraged to develop Islamic apps, to make Islamic apps. Unfortunately, the Muslims, they are very backward as far as software development is concerned. So a person can make any software, he can develop any software as long as it is within the purviews of the Islamic Sharia. It should not involve in anything that is haram. Unfortunately, we see many of the apps today, they involve in things that are haram. For example, they may have music, they may have women on these apps. So all of this should be avoided. If we are developing any app, we should see to it that it is within the purviews of the Islamic Sharia. So developing an app is no problem. If someone misuses this app and uses this and spreads some fitna, then that is his lookout. As long as the person who's developing the app takes all precaution that it does not involve in anything that is haram, then there is no problem in developing such an app. I would like to give an example. For example, a person manufactures a car. His purpose is that it should serve as a means of transportation. But if someone misuses this car, for example, if a person uses for criminal activities, for transporting drugs, or for other criminal activities, then that is the person who's misusing it, it is his lookout. Similarly, if a person starts a business of renting out cars, as long as he does not involve in anything that is haram, inshallah, there's no problem in it. If he rents his car to someone, and this individual who is taking the car on rent, if he takes this car to a pub or to a bar or for gambling or for something that is haram, that is his lookout. So developing any software, as long as it is within the purviews of the Islamic Sharia, there is no problem in developing softwares. And we should see to it that we develop Islamic softwares that will benefit the Ummah. For example, Quranic apps, apps of the adhan, apps related to da'wah that will give information about Islam, apps for children, which is very important. We see that the children, they play a lot of games on the mobile phones and other games as well. And many a times these games, they have something or the other that is haram. Either they have music, or many of them many of these games, they have women that are not dressed modestly, etc. So we should give alternatives to the children. We should have Islamic apps that teach the basic tenets of Islam, the teachings of Islam to our children, so that the children from a young age, they are brought up in an Islamic environment. Giving alternatives to the children, it is very important. And from a young age, the right tarbiyah and upbringing should be given to the children, so that from a young age they know regarding Islam, and from a young age they are aware regarding the teachings of Islam. So I hope that answers your question.